started. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today is our session 4 of Fundamentals of AI. There's one good thing I actually, while I was looking for some quotes for tonight's session, the one that you're seeing on the screen here is, if you ever feel useless, just remember there is an AI chatbot that was created by Microsoft. Microsoft named it Tay, and they actually shut it down after like 16 hours of life. So you can say that, it was immediately shut down because it was becoming a racist AI chatbot. And we're going to learn about chatbots tonight. Um, and why it became racist, because the the people who were feeding the information to it, they were actually intentionally feeding racist information to it. So the chat part, it's like how people, they get influenced, by the company. So the chat part was, it was a funny story, but it is a true story. You can search for Tay, and what happened to Tay back in the days. All right. All right, so next one is our outline. So we have quite a bit of ground we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering cognitive services. We're going to look into what is a cognitive service. We're going to understand the natural language processing, or NLP. We're going to define what an NLP is, and what is a computer vision, and what are chatbots and voice assistants. So we're going to be covering, these three major areas into AI, and then, the cognitive services. And in the last, if time permits, we're going to cover ethics and AI biases, ethics and biases in AI, like what is their potential implications, the overview of them, the current efforts, how they are being, addressed, and some case studies, we're gonna look into. And in all of these 4 or 5 areas, like cognitive services, NLP, computer vision, chatbots, and whatever and whatnot. I'm gonna show you some demos as well. But the main demo, I'm gonna keep it for our next week's class. That will be our last class of this course. So that's why I now want to, finish it off today, this whole theoretical section, so that, next week we're gonna do the demo, and also I'm gonna talk about the certifications, what certification paths are available, within Microsoft, Azure, within AWS, within GCP. These are the three main cloud providers, and what have we covered so far, and how it is going to, help us out. Okay. Moving on, so what is a cognitive services? So it actually, its root word is cognition. Cognition means, it refers to the mental processes and activities related to acquiring, processing, and using information in the mind. So in my mind, I'm gonna acquire either through my eyes or through my ear, and then process in my mind, and then I use that information for certain purposes. So that's the base definition of cognition, and it includes, range of mental activities, like, perception, attention, reasoning, problem solving, decision making, and language comprehension and production. In our Islamic faith as well, uh, there are a lot of, area you are seeing that, you may have, heard, in the Islamic faith as well, like reasoning, the problem solving, or the decision making. So, so not just only the religious side of it, but, our daily life as well. We use, these areas, and if we master these areas, we're gonna be a better human and a better person for our community as well. Okay. All right. And then, cognition. Okay, cognition, it is an essential aspect of human intelligence, responsible for our, ability to learn, adapt, and interact with the world around us. Okay. So it actually, cognition helps us, it gives us the ability to, perform these actions, learn, adapt, and interact, around our, around the world around us. Okay. Also, involves the complex, the neural processes to gather the information, process them, and then use them, right? So you are seeing the common theme here. Uh, Gather in any form or shape, either through, through vision or through speech or through, through hearing, right? And then, processing it in our mind, and then, either use it for the interaction or use it for, for decision making, or, or taking some actions. Is a broad, term, and, it encompasses uh, different disciplines of science. You see psychology, neuroscience, linguistics, philosophy, and computer science, and there are other areas as well. So if you are, let's say, a neurology major, a neuroscience major, you're psychology major, or you want to do something in psychology, or you have, studied linguistics, or, and or you are planning to do study linguistics or philosophy, computer science. So they all merge together. Like AI has shown the capability to merge them all together. So there is certain area, certain specific area from specific side, say from the computer science side, writing the algorithm, writing the code, or, looking into it, from that aspect. From the neurosciences, from that side, the deep learning, aspect, the like how neurons work, that's how the deep learning works, the multi-neuron stuff. Psychology, learning the psychology of, let's say, of a customer, or psychology of certain type of matter, how it reacts or how it, interacts with, right? So there's a lots and lots of, different areas that are actually, going to help you out. So no matter, what your major was, or what your major will be in future, you will always be able to contribute something, into the AI. So it's not so AI. The crux of it, the AI is not only for technical folks, but it is as useful for non-technical folks as well, and they are, you know, um, helping, grow this technology or grow this area by leaps and bounds. On the right hand side, you are seeing, a picture here. So there are five different, at times, you will be seeing six different areas of the cognitive services. So all the cloud providers, be it AWS, GCP, or Azure, they offer the cognitive services. Azure call it, Azure Cognitive Services, or ACS. Um, you know, uh, so it covers the vision, language, speech. Um, what does it cover? That, from the vision, they call it computer vision, like how computer sees, let's say, this mug, how computer sees this mug, and what attributes it picks up, for that. And we're going to see, some examples, today as well. Same goes with the speech, speech recognition, like what I'm speaking, translating that into text, or text into speech, or translating that speech, say, the English to some other language, or some other language to, to English, or, vice versa. Then, helping, the web search or the decision making aspects as well. So, cognitive services, it brings AI, within the reach of every developer and data scientist. So no matter, what area you are developing on, or what type of data scientist you are, it will always be, able to, or you will always be able to, get help from it. There are leading models available to, and a variety of use cases, that can be unlocked, through these, cognitive services. Okay. I don't want to drain the entire slide. I'll let you, read the slide, and, if you have any question down the road, feel free to reach me out. All right. So Azure Cognitive Services, as I mentioned, five or six, different areas. So you see the vision that covers, the computer vision, like how computer sees an object, emotions, Say, if I'm smiling or if I'm speaking or if I'm, thinking or if I'm looking somewhere else. So in those emotions, it detects. Um, then, the face vision, and then, the video service, the text, oh, sorry, the static and the dynamic, the picture format as well. On the speech side, you see the custom recognition or the speaker recognition and speaker and translation services. Same goes with language, and then the knowledge, and then search. As you heard about, Microsoft has purchased, or actually has invested a lot, quite a lot of money, in ChatGPT, and they incorporated that ChatGPT or the AI capability into their Bing search engine. So if you go to Bing, you will have, you see different, capabilities that are currently being offered, with Bing, like image search or web search, or auto suggest and all that. There is a demo mentioned here. I'm going to come to it in a bit. Okay. We'll just move on. All right, so cognitive services on the left side, the picture that you're seeing, this is the Azure Cognitive Services. On the right side, you are seeing the AWS or the Amazon Web Services Cognitive Services. So services that are offered by Azure and AWS. So if you are working in the Azure platform, or Microsoft platform is the platform of your choosing, these are, some of the cognitive services that I just talked about, right? So Azure offers these, and similar Amazon offers as well. Amazon has a different name. Amazon calls them, like, the chatbot capability. Amazon calls it Lex. The deep learning for the video and image analysis, Amazon calls it recognition, translate, comprehend. Okay, Amazon Poly, that's the natural sound in text to speech, that is mostly used in the Alexa appliances. So if you have Alexa at your home or at your work, uh, the underlying technology for Alexa is Amazon Poly. That's the one. Okay. Then Amazon Transcribe, the speech recognition service, automatic speech recognition. Similar, same capabilities, Azure has as well, like, vision capability, as I talked about, it gives you the computer vision, face and video indexing and all that. Okay. Moving on next, you see the on the right. So this is the computer vision um, slide. So what computer vision is, we provide a capability to computer to look into things, analyze and see, and based on the feature set we're given, and and the label it came up with. So if you see on the right hand side of the screen, let me just maximize the size here a little bit for you. So you see that it is recognizing a lot of things here. It is recognizing traffic light. Okay. It is recognizing, the truck, or the car, or the person with handbag or handbags, so different, areas, it is recognizing. So there's the computer vision that, the computer was fed a lot of, pictures and, videos and, whatever and whatnot. And then based off of those, labels that were given to it. Remember the supervised learning we discussed last week? So, based off of that, it start picking up, okay, so this is um, the traffic light I'm seeing, or this is the, or it is, identifying, the objects that, it has a list, provided to it. So it focuses on, teaching computers to understand and interpret visual information like humans do, like, what we visualize, like what we see. So giving that capability to computer to understand and then analyze, those visuals. It could be a static picture, or it could be a moving video. Okay. Um, it is used in a variety of applications, and the common ones are, self-driving cars, the facial recognition system. Those who are using the iPhones, you will, there's a face recognition feature, or the face unlock feature. Don't exactly remember the name of that. So, you look at your phone, it unlocks it, and I think Android phones also, they come up with this capability as well. And then, medical imaging as well. That's another, area, it is it is being used. Okay, it also, help improve the manufacturing processes. Um, in the production line, it is very much, commonly in use. And also, I think in airports as well, they started using as well, like, um, like my baggage, it knows, the system knows, by reading through those, the QR code that, they put it onto the baggage, that it is going to go, say if I'm flying, from Chicago to Boston. So it will, direct the baggage to the flight to Boston, not the flight to Toronto. So, based off of, that computer vision, it is able to, achieve the task very easily. Another example of, the warehouse working is the Amazon's warehouses. That's another example. And there are, several other, warehouse examples. I'll see if I could find any video on that, and I'll just, send it to you guys. That will be helpful for you to understand that, hey, how, they are using it. And I've been to UPS warehouse, and boy, that was like huge, huge in size, and they were utilizing AI capabilities a lot, and mainly the computer vision to scan those barcodes or scan those codes on those packages that were moving real fast on the conveyor belt, and just sending it to the right bin or right box. So, that's this is, very common capability, and people use it, and it is still has a potential to grow. So you can, if you have interest in it, you can, find your niche in this computer vision, and, grow your career in that direction. Okay. And there are a couple other information regarding that. It involves the computer vision involves the use of various techniques such as image processing, machine learning, deep learning, and analyzing and extract information from images and videos. So, um, we it's just not only one specific area it focuses on. It has capability to combine, merge, mix the other areas as well. Um, Requires the use of the complex algorithms to detect and recognize patterns, features, objects within images. So let's say, if you have remember, let's go to this image. So you see, there are different objects, see the traffic light, you see the handbag, you see a person, you see a far away traffic light, you see a car, truck, you see a zebra crossing here, you see, a window here, American flag, building, sky. So there were a lot of features, and tree here as well. There are a lot of features in this picture, but this computer program was trained for these specific areas, for traffic light, for identifying the person, identifying the cars or the trucks, and ignoring at this time, the other features as well. But you can train that model to learn more areas into it. So this is about the objects within image. So this is the one big image, and you see there are lots and lots of different objects. So those who are significant to us, we train our model on that. Those which are not, we just skip it. Okay. This is another example of computer vision. Um, and I'm going to come to the demo as well. So here you see the computer vision. There's a picture on your left. Here, computer is seeing lots and lots of objects here. Okay. What objects it is seeing? It has identified water, swimming, sport, pool, person, man, frisbee, and whatever and whatnot. A lot of was given to it, and so it came up with a caption, which is a text caption. That the caption is a man swimming in a pool of water. So it has picked up man, it has picked up swimming, it has picked up pool, it has picked up water, and it is telling us, this is the confidence level. So confidence is 0.89. So computer is showing that it is 89%. 0.89 equals 89. percent because if you divide it by 100, okay, so is it divided by 100 or multiply by 100? I think it's times 100, yeah, times 100. So 89% is the confidence. So computer is telling us, if you remember, I think the last class we discussed or the previous, you can always go and refer to that about the confidence level, how it is, get calculated. So confidence is that it is showing a computer's confidence that the picture that you are showing me, I am 89% confident that it is a man swimming in a pool. And then, there are different tags here, uh, water, confidence, and all that. So for the water, it is so when we tear it down, let me do one thing, 1 second, clear it. Sorry. All right, so you see that it actually has split that. So water confidence level 99%, swimming confidence level 95%, then sport, and then the pool, and then the person. So there are different confidence levels. It has come up with. So overall, all in all, in that picture, the all in all confidence, like the bigger picture, the confidence level is 89%. But here you see, the individual object confidence level it is telling us. What does it mean that it is 99%, and for the water sport is 66%? Could be possible. There's a possibility that the computer was fed different pictures. They may have lesser water, or they may have more water but lesser water sports content in it. So that's why it is, the more, if you remember, the more feature set, or the more data we feed into the system, or feed into AI, the more it will confident, or the better inference it will give us, or the better way it will get trained. So the better the confidence level it will have. So water sport, there's a possibility that we have not fed much of content on the water sport. That's why its confidence level is 66%. But there may be a lot of pictures, a lot of content was fed into it that has water in it. So that's why it is more confident that this is how water looks like. Okay. All right, so next one is about the natural language processing. Natural language processing is a subfield of AI, focusing on the teaching machines to understand like human language, both written and spoken, like I am speaking, for it to understand. If you remember, this capability is here in the subtitles. So whatever Faisal is speaking, with a confidence level of I would say 90%, it is picking up what I am speaking. So it is picking up that the language I'm speaking, plus the accent which I'm speaking. So it is understanding that it is not pure American accent or pure British accent. I have a mix of accent, American plus my native accent as well, that that merges in. So the way the system was trained on this PowerPoint application, uh, and so it is picking that up. So it picks up both written and speak and spoken as well. So in a demo, I'll show you that if I type something, it will pick the sentiments on that, and it will pick or it can translate that for us as well. Um, and it NLP involves a range of tasks. The parsing part of speech, tagging, name entity recognition, sentiment analysis, language translation, text summarization, and all, there are a couple other, right? So text summarization is, I gave a full, let's say, a full essay, ask it to, summarize for me. So it will summarize and give me, let's say, and summarize in 2 paragraphs or 1 paragraph or 2 sentences. Sentiment analysis is it is very helpful. Say if you are in a customer service area, let me stop this here. So if you are in customer services side of the house, this will be very helpful for you. And how it is going to helpful? So somebody is typing and somebody is not happy, or somebody is in urgency, or somebody is so whatever, right? So whatever the sentiment the person is typing or speaking, the system picks it up and then informs you, so that the person behind the phone or behind the chat would know, hey, you know what, the person on the other side is not very happy, or uh, is not in the right mood, so that you will go in with that, with an informed decision, and then that will help you um, diffuse the situation. Okay. Um, all right. On the right hand side, you see there are different types of NLP, or natural language processing. Managing the human computer dialogue system, or the machine perception, natural language generation, or classifier, or understanding. So there are different types and areas that are available there. Okay. All right. So as I mentioned about, the sentiment analysis, you can do machine translation. Chatbots are very common. There's one example. I mean, let's say, you go to any website, majority of the websites, they have the chatbots there. Say you are, you know, uh, you go to your internet service provider website, they will have a chatbot there. So you type in your question, and then, they actually collect as much information as possible. And at times, you do not even have to talk to a person, and that chatbot actually resolve the issue that you were, or provide you the information that you were looking for. So chatbots are very helpful way of, they actually save money for the business, and also save us time. We do not have to deal with some person who has a bad hair day, or some irate person that is not in a good mood, and giving us hard time. Um, and also, the text summarization is another area that we can, use this one for. Bot services, as I mentioned, chatbots, is one area, and then the Alexa, or the Google, devices at your home, they are another example. So Louis.ai, that's Microsoft service, that is similar type, as Alexa for Amazon. I think Cortana is the one for that Microsoft actually uses. So once we go click on these sites, we will get to know more about those. Okay. All right. So those were the previous one, were the positive areas. There are some not so positive areas. I would not call them negative, but they are in towards the negative side, but not so positive areas. And for the of AI, and that is uh, so what happened is, they actually carry um, the load, or the carry the information what we provide to them, and they carry it forward. So um, say, if I have some biases, let's say, if I do not like certain ethnicity, or um, if I do not want it to work a certain time of the day, or do not like certain currency or something, or of things of that sort. So I will have, some biases against that thing. Or if I very much, if I like a thing very aggressively, so I may have a bias that is, going, you know, um, that is, shifting the balance, so biases are mainly that actually, changes the balance, from like, from the balance state to, either or, either in the positive direction, or on the negative direction. So algebraic biases, algorithmic biases. If you remember the algorithm, the definition of algorithm that we discussed, I think it was in the second class. Keep that in your mind. So these algorithmic biases, they describe the systemic and repeatable errors in a computer system that create unfair outcome, such as privileging. So like privileging one category over another. So that say, you have a balanced categories, but because of the unfair outcome, one area, uh, gets the privileges over the another, and it gets bias in that direction. Okay, so bias is it's a systemic and repeatable error. Um, we have seen in our you must have experienced in your daily life that say a certain group of people or certain type of people, they are given um, privileges over other people, over regular people, over common people. So that's another example of biasing. Okay. So there are four stages of ethical AI, or say, there are four core biases. There are various other biases out there in the industry, but four of them which are that actually holds pretty much the majority of it. So if you look into the cycle here, um, so one is the real world bias that is reflected on our data bias. So whatever is the real world, let's say, there is a racial ethnicity bias, certain specific ethnicity. Um, if I have a bias on that certain specific ethnicity, if I am going to write an algorithm, or if I am keeping that bias in my mind, be a negative prejudice or some very positive about that. So keeping that, negative prejudice in my mind, if I go write write some algorithm, so that bias will automatically transform into the data. So now my the bias in in my mind, it actually has get embedded into the algorithm, and then from the algorithm into the data, and then the data is going to be exposed by the algorithmic bias, and then that is acted upon by business bias, which will impact the real world. So I have a prejudice against something, some ethnicity. I put it into the data, and then I wrote it into the algorithm that actually going to impact that is going to be absorbed by the business, and that business is going to impact the real world. So this is the vicious cycle, because of, one specific person's bias, that, the vicious cycle will just, keep on growing. Okay. On the right hand side, there are some examples. I'll let you go through those whenever you get time on those. Okay. I wanted to there is some examples of the algorithm bias, and there are some six potential ways. McKinsey and Company, this is one of the top leading consulting firm. So they came up with those, this is the crux of their study they performed. So those six steps that are way forward for AI practitioners and and business policy leaders to consider when looking into looking into uh, um, writing the algorithm or cleansing the data, or looking at the things from above and beyond those biases. So one is be aware of the context. Okay, establish a process, and then engage in a fact-based conversations, either with your peer, or or your the human decision makers, and then follow no, sorry, fully explore the work that that is going to be done together. Invest more in bias research. Okay, and then invest more in diversifying the AI field. So the more diversified we have the field, the more biases we're gonna be removing from the algorithms or from the system. What is the example of diversifying is, I can give you an example of Canadian economy or Canadian system. You see that they are open for immigration from around like everywhere from the globe. So you will see people from the Asia or South Asia, and then Far East, Europe, and Middle East, North America, South America. So all it's Canada is like a melting pot. So it has a very diversified workforce, that actually is that goes in the in positive of in the positive direction for Kenyan economy. So that's the purpose of the diversification. All right. So how to avoid algorithmic biases? Um, Diversification is the key. Like I gave you the example of Canadian economy or Canadian system, right? So diversify a diversity of background. Um, to avoid diversity of background of the team to avoid group thinking. So I'm not thinking in some certain specific group. I am, let's say if I am part of the group, so let's say there are different ethnicities or diversified group is there. So people will be bringing a diversified background, diversity of mindset, because if I am looking at a thing from let's say if I'm looking at a problem from, so I might be looking from my perspective. I may not be looking or gauging it, what other ethnicity or what other um, you know um, other type of people look into that. So diversify the background in your team, diversify the mindset, diversify your data, and diversify your algorithmic model. So bring in diversity in every aspect that is going to help you out to avoid the biases. Okay. On the left side of this picture, you are left side of the slide, you see the picture. There are different type of ML biases: prejudice bias, sample bias, measurement, exclusion, algorithm bias. You don't have to go into details, but if you are interested, yes, feel free to do some more research in it. There are tons and tons of books out there. There are tons and tons of research, blog posts, and web articles out there. And people are just there are people, there's set of people, they are just only focusing on addressing biases, studying biases, and how do we address those. So it's mainly it comes in the under the cognition side of the house, where you see the psychologists, they're sitting there, or scientists are sitting there, or even computer scientists are there as well, right? So they actually look into how do we um, clean our algorithm from all these biases. Okay. All right. So these are some of the examples. Um, the gender bias in AI, building fair system, there were some examples where people were looking into the people were um, they were sidelined because of their the gender. I think I had a glitch here. Were you are you guys able to see me fine and hear me fine?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So these are, some of the examples here. And I'm gonna be coming, in further examples, down as well, in coming slides. Like, Google fixed their, racial algorithm by removing gorilla from its image labeling system. There were lots and lots of examples, like, Amazon's uh, think one of the Amazon system, that has, I don't exactly remember at this time, but yeah, Amazon actually identified a huge bias in one of their system, and they had to, shut it down. And some of the firms, they were actually, fixing it, um, removing the biases. These are, some of the, examples that were, surfaced in the news. Okay. So those were, the biases and all that. So that's the negative side of it. So in order to address that, Microsoft, and then, there were different other companies, they put together a responsible AI framework. Microsoft's responsible AI framework is very easy to understand. So I actually picked that up, and so I'm gonna, yeah, go in details, with you guys on that. Okay. So they actually came up with a persona-centric responsible AI framework. You see three different personas. You see admin, you see designer, and you see the business consumer. Okay. All right. So what do they do is, say, so if you look into the training side, so here, these are, some of the bullets for the AI designer. So when they are designing, and developing. They make sure that they are interpretable and enhanceable model. What does it mean? That whatever the model I design, if I'm a designer, AI designer, the model I am designing, I will be able to interpret that, or if I give it to someone, the person will be able to interpret very easily that this is what it is, this is what it is looking for, and this is how I am going to this is how the system is designed there. And AI algorithm design, traditional machine learning versus deep learning, or data drift and quality checks, and Microsoft ethical AI guidelines. So all these things bundled in together, developed, and then pass it on to the AI admin and officers. So the second persona, those people who are going to operationalize it. So AI operationalization and metrics and performance metrics, that I need to I need to be aware of. Model monitoring, security, return on investment, governance, and audit, audit frameworks and all that. So I should be aware of those, that they are going in the right direction. Once I operationalize it, then the business is going to interpret that and going to infer the results out of it, right? So, a feedback loop, and then prediction, interpretation, security, privacy, and compliance. So these are the some of the bullet points specific to that. If you wanted to know more, I'm gonna tell you more in coming slide. But if you wanna go deeper into it, so every slide has um, um, a URL, and you can click on it, and it will take you and provide you more information there. Okay. All right. So keep that responsible AI in your mind. Okay. Um, AI has two very distinct features that we need to be aware of, that we need to ensure that we have embed that into our model. Okay. One is the ethical side, and the one is the explainability side. This thing is, there's a huge debate around these. This is very much in demand, not very much, but too much in demand these days, because the ethical aspect and the explainable aspect, they have been worked on, but not to a point that you call it the vision is complete, or that it is at the maturity level. So what is explainable? Explainable AI refers to the ability of an AI system to provide understandable, transparent, explanation, okay, of its decision-making process. So if the AI system is making any decision based off of the algorithm that was fed into it, if I wrote that, I should be able to provide a transparent explanation and understandability of it, so that it is not a black box to a person. Say this is an AI algorithm. You put the input into it and you get the output out of it. So it should not be this AI algorithm, this box here, it should not be black box to the person who is going to consume this, or the output where it is going to. I should be able to, who wrote this, I should be able to explain it transparently, that this is what the algorithm is, and this is what algorithm is doing, so that there are no biases, or if there are any biases, we will be able to eliminate those biases. Okay. And I should be able to uh, make it understandable for for the people who are going to use that. Okay. So explainability, let that I should be able to easily make it explainable to the other people. Okay. These systems are becoming increasingly complex, so making it difficult to understand how they make decisions. So try to make it as explainable as possible if you're writing that algorithm, or if you're part of the team. Okay. They are designed to help human understand the reasoning behind an AI system's decision. So if um, on the right hand side, you see the example here. healthcare decision and sorry, healthcare diagnosis. And the another example is credit scoring. So in the financial industry, I know explainable AI can be used to evaluate credit worthiness or the or assess risk. That what is my let's say if I am new to this country, what is my credit worthiness? It may be close to zero. I may be because I have zero um, credit score in this country. So I will have to, build that, score, and, there's a whole process for that. So who is going to evaluate the credit worthiness, depending on my age, depending on how much do I make, how much do I earn, where do I live, what car do I drive, how much do I owe, other than, whatever, the credit I'm applying for, what is my ethnicity, what is my background. So all these things, if if I provide this whole information, um, the system, if the algorithm is biased or if the algorithm is biased in nature, so it may check me off because of my ethnicity or because of my earning statement or because of my age or because of my color of the skin or whatever and whatnot. So all these things, they should be explainable. They should not be a black box to the system that that you fed into it and then you get the output and nobody be able to define or explain it to me. Okay, if let's say my credit worthiness or the risk score is way too high. Okay. um with explainable AI, the system can provide a detailed explanation of how it arrived at that credit score. So for my credit score, so um, what were the motives behind, and what were the points um, it picked, or the boxes it checked to come up with my credit score. Highlighting specific factors or data points that were considered. This can help ensure fairness and accountability in lending practices. So that's one example. Another example is about the healthcare diagnosis. It can help doctors and medical professionals make more informed decision. Example is AI system may be designed to analyze medical images such as X-ray or MRI scans, and provide a diagnosis or recommendation based on its analysis. So uh, these are very crucial in nature. Healthcare diagnosis, a person's life and death, decisions are dependent on it, right? So there's a very fine line, and we have to be very much careful whenever especially in the healthcare side. Okay, so explainable AI can provide a detailed explanation of how it arrived uh, to the diagnosis, highlighting specific features and patterns on the images that led to the decision making process. Okay, that's the explainability aspect of it. The other one is the ethical side of it. I'm not going to drain the entire slide. The let's just take an ethics. That the development and use of the AI systems designed the operate in an ethical and responsible manner. Okay, I try to put the bullet points on for our non-technical folks. So as an example, I did not go very much technical details. You must have seen in all these slides here. Includes ensuring the AI systems are transparent, explainable, and accountable for their actions. Okay, taken as example here, the hiring process. Okay, hiring process is in the hiring process practice to reduce biases, reduce the bias, and promote diversity. This is a very common problem, and you must have heard people, or you must have witnessed it firsthand as well. Hey, I'm applying left, right, and center, but I'm not. I'm getting first response, and after that, nobody is returning back my calls, or I'm not moving forward. So there could be a bias, in the hiring process, right? So ethical. Let's say if there's an AI system, so if that system is put together ethically, can be used to analyze job description, candidate resume, other factors, identifying the potential biases, and providing recommendations for improving the diversity and inclusion in the hiring process. Okay. Um, this will, this can help ensure that all candidates are given a fair, equal opportunity, regardless of their, race, gender, or other factors. It's a very common problem in hiring industry. Because of my race or my gender or my color of the skin, my age or my background or whatever, right? So uh, that actually, impacts the organization or the hiring committee or hiring team or they may lose a um, potential candidate just because of those biases. So if the system is bias free, they will have the merit-based system, and the meritorious person will be sorted out as the leading contender for that position. Okay, principles of responsible AI. Uh, as we discussed about ethical and explainable. Okay, Microsoft came up with 6 principles of responsible AI, and they are pretty much across the board on the in the industry. Um, but there are, 2 major demarcation lines. One is the ethical side of the principle, other one is the explainable side of it. On the ethical side, you see the accountability, inclusiveness, reliability, and safety. So we just ensure that the system that the algorithm that we are putting together, or the AI system that we are putting in, it's accountable, it's inclusive. Inclusive means that it embraces everybody with open arms. Be it a gender, no prejudice or no biases on gender, sexual orientation, uh, uh, color, creed, ethnicity or ethnic background. So it's just, inclusive, for all sorts and types of people. Reliable and safety. It is reliable enough to provide um, a solid result that we are looking for. Safety, it is safe enough to ensure that it has all the safety, be it the technical safety, the IT or security, that aspect as well, or the safety of the other safety of the people that it is going to provide the results on, so their safety as well. Okay. On the explainable side, it has the fairness embedded into it. It has transparency embedded into it. That it is transparent. It is not a black box. So whatever the decision it is making, it is able to define those, that these are the transparent facts, or these are the facts based off of which I am able to make the decision on. And then privacy and security. So if it is making a decision on me, or let's say on my personal health data, it is keeping it private, not just distributing to the entire world. And the security as well, like the IT security systems security as well, that it is running on in a secure environment. Let's say the storage is secure, the environment is secure, network is secure, and data is secure. There is not openly available um, for people who do not have any interest in it. Okay. Um, there are 5, 6, 7 different areas. We looked into 6 areas, that these are Azure or Microsoft's responsibility principles. These are, and here you are seeing in this slide, these are some of the industry best practices. Fairness and non-discrimination, as we discussed about, right? So transparency and explainability, privacy and security, robustness, and human-centered design. AI system should be designed to benefit people, okay, with a focus on user needs and user experiment. So the benefits to the people is benefit is actually of a greater importance. And then ethical decision making should be designed to make ethical decisions with a clear understanding, that what are the implications if the decision goes wrong. On the right side, you are seeing some examples, uh, loan provider example, healthcare provider, and then a company collects the data on its consume of on its customers, and it ensures that the data is stored securely. So this is the security principle, and only accessible by authorized personnel. Say, if I'm working on a government system, I should be able to access it if I have the need of it. And let's say, if a person, if someone in my family, they should not be, knowing about that, or they should not have, access to that. So it has to be, secured, securely stored. And then, a law enforcement, agency uses AI to predict criminal activity. This was in the news quite a lot, not just lately, but, in the past as well. Like the law enforcement systems, they are using, or they have, some biases that is actually impacting, certain ethnicity or certain type of people or certain, color of people, people of certain color. So, if the system is responsible, it will predict or make ethical and, fair predictions. Okay. Responsible conversation AI. Conversational AIs um, they are the ones that are, uh, the that actually have the capability to converse with the people. Either I am conversing and system is converting or listening, or system is conversing and I'm listening or consuming the data. The chatbots are one example, and then, the Alexa service is another example of it, right? So here you see, uh, co- um, conversational AI are examples, or responsible factors for the conversational AI: privacy, bias, transparency, safety, and accessibility. Similar thing, it must have, privacy in mind. It should not have biases. It should be transparent, or safety and, accessibility. Privacy in mind, that, it designed such a way that if I have Alexa device at home, it is plugged in, so it should not be picking up my personal or my private conversation. Okay. Or, sending it, out to the service provider, or should not have, access to the data that is, causing a data breach that is going to, cause and harm, to me, down the road. Okay. Um, Azure actually, so Microsoft actually came up with human AI interaction guidelines. Very good guidelines. I'm not gonna drain this entirely. I would highly recommend you guys to look into that. I'm always available to, to answer on those. Um, the link is here on the right hand side of the screen. And this is a screenshot of that. So there are 4 steps of it. Okay. Or the four, let's put it this way. There are 4 phases of us human interacting with the AI system. Okay. Either initially, or during the interaction, or when anything goes wrong, or over a period of time. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So what are those guidelines? So when we initially interact with AI system, we make clear what the system can do. So this is like, either we are building the system, or the system, that is given to us to consume. So what is our, the initial conversation there? Okay. Um, so on this website, once you go to Microsoft website, you click on it, it will give you more detailed bullet points on a specific area. Say if anything went wrong, so support efficient correction, or over time, provide, global control, or, encourage granular feedbacks, or, mitigate social biases. So every, all these 18 points, so they have, further bullet points that actually gives you more detailed information how human interacts with AI system, and what should be the guidelines, on that. Like, if we follow those guidelines, we will have a responsible, non-biased, AI system that we are, either deploying it, or, consuming it. All right, so this actually concludes our session here today. Um, as I mentioned, at the start of the class, I will have to step away. I have to, go somewhere. what I can do is, I know we have a smaller cohort size today. So how about we keep the demo for our next class? And I'm not gonna go into the detail of the demo here. So we'll just, go do the demo of the system. Plus, we're gonna go do the demo of those, URLs or the links, that I provided, in the slide deck here. So this way, we will be able to, we probably will have, more interaction, hopefully in our next session. So I'm gonna pause here for any questions or any concerns or comments that you guys may have before I uh, close the call.
Do we have a class next week?
Yes, we will have a class next week. That class, um, we're gonna be doing the demo, and I will show you how to build a basic AI system, from the Azure. Plus, I will show you the demo of Microsoft's couple of capabilities.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much, folks. Thanks for joining in, and inshallah, I'll see you guys in our next class. I'm gonna stop the recording.